Hi, welcome to video 3 of other important charts, and in this video we will talk about multi-row card, KPI chart and a slicer. A multi-row card is very similar to a card except that we can display many different values. So first let me select a multi-row card and let me drag first total into the fields and then units into the field. So you can see that unlike normal cards, with multi-row cards, you can basically use them to display many different values. I can also go and drag unit cost as well. And you basically get many different values within a card. So it's very simple and nothing much fancy, and even in formatting options you do not have anything that relates to your card, probably only this card title. So here basically you can control different items like bar thickness, padding, background and so on. So we will move on to the next chart, which is a KPI chart. A KPI chart, or key performance indicator, is a visual cue that communicates the amount of progress made towards a measurable goal. KPIs are a great choice to measure progress and to measure distance to a goal. So the KPI chart is right next to your multi-row card chart. So let me select the KPI chart, and here you basically indicate the indicator, trend and your target goal. So in the indicator, first select the value that you would like to track. So I will select units within the indicator, and the trend axis you basically need to select a trend value. So probably I would like to analyze the units that are sold across different years. So once you do that, you basically get a trend line chart. I can also go and select a target goal. So right now I do not have any goal. So what I will do is I will click on these three dots and I will create a new measure. So measures are calculated values that are created within the Power BI, and you see a calculator symbol next to the measure indicating that it is a measure that is created by us. So here what I will do is I will give a target for the unit. Okay, and I think the measure has gone away, so let me create a new measure again. So here what I will do is I will give the measure name as units target, and I will calculate this measure as, say for example, you need to use the function calculate for doing any kind of calculation within the DAX. So this kind of writing functions or formulas is called DAX, which is data analysis expressions, which is used more prominently in Power BI to calculate different measures. So I will say calculate and I will say sum of sales order units. Okay, so basically I will get whatever is the total value, and now what I will do is I will multiply it by 0.9. Okay, so I will set the target as something that is lesser than the real value. So I need to have one bracket over here, and then I will press enter. And now if you see, the units target measure has been created, and what I will do is I will take this and I will drag it into my target goal. And you see that since we had set the target that is lesser than the real units value, we are getting a green, and everything is in green, and we are also getting a label for the goal, which is 5.13 thousand, and the real value is actually 11% more than the goal. Okay, so if you want, you can go and change the formula just to see the other side of it. So I will say the target is probably 120% more. Okay, so I will say it's 120% more than the real value. So let me press enter, or rather it's not 0.12, it is 1.2. Okay, so let me press enter now, and you see that the entire trend line, the number, everything changes to red, indicating that we have not actually met our target. So let's go to the formatting options, and let's go to indicator, and let's change the display units to thousands, so which is much more easier to read. And if you want, or if you do not want a trend axis, so this is the trend axis, then what you can do is you can basically go and switch it off. So I will switch it on back, and if you go to goals, it gives you lots of different options to basically format your goal. So it basically says whether you want to see the goal, which is 6.83 thousand, and the distance to the goal, which is 16%, to be visible here or not. So basically, if you go and turn it off, you will get rid of the goal, and if you turn the distance off, you will get rid of the entire goal section. So let me go and put that back. And the next option is color coding. You have an option called a direction, which has two values, which are high is good and low is good. So for a metric such as units sold or the total sales, you would usually say higher the value, which is better. But if you are probably tracking cost, then you would say the lower the value is better. So the color will change accordingly whether your real value is ahead or behind your target value. So let me minimize that, and the other options are the generic formatting options as with other Power BI visuals. Next, let's talk about a slicer. So let me go to my page 3, or what I will do is I will do in page 2 itself, because a slicer is usually used in combination with other charts. So first let me select a slicer, and then you can basically drag any of the different fields into this field section. So what I will do is I will drag continent in this field section. So what a slicer allows us to do is it basically narrows the portion of the dataset shown in other visualizations in the report. So it's like we are trying to filter this chart with the values within the slicer. So slicers are an alternate way of filtering. Okay. So for example, if I want to see this particular chart that we have developed now, for only for the continent Asia, then what I can do is I can select Asia. So that will basically go and update this chart only for continent Asia. And that's all you have to know about your slicer. So it's basically used in combination with other charts. So a chart by itself or a slicer chart by itself is of no real value. So let me go to my formatting options. Under selection controls, you have a couple of different options called select all and show single select. So here, if you want to add another option saying to select all, you can basically turn it on, and that allows you to select all the different continents when filtering for other charts. So let me turn that off. And then here there is an option called single select, which only allows the user to select a single value at a time. Okay, so the moment I select Europe and I go to any other continent, note that it allows me only a single select. But if you want to allow the user to multi-select, then you can basically turn off this option, and it will allow you to basically add up the values because you're basically multi-selecting. And a few more formatting options for header, and again formatting options for the individual items as well. So in summary, we have learnt about multi-row card, KPI and a slicer chart, and in the next video we will learn about table and matrix chart. Thank you.